You are not owned by some evil villain that sits behind the president. I'm not saying that evil villains don't exist, but as we grow through life, we pick up all sorts of energetic parasites that suck the living life out of us. At first innocent and small, these mini bugs usually go unnoticed until they're so deeply attached into our spirit that it takes substantial intervention to free us from their claws. I cannot possibly name all of them here, but I'll attempt to touch on a few in order to help you see the real bosses in your life. I reiterate, as a species, we run from ourselves by focusing on external things like what is happening in the news, the latest political scandal, or what a family member has done this time to upset us even more. We roll our eyes and say things like, "Not everyone is as conscious as we are." In reality, it's this type of talk that just takes our focus further away from how incredibly unconscious we've become of the unseen forces that have their claws deeply attached into our skins. The real boss in your life is not as blatantly obvious as a loud political leader or an evil scientist in a lab. It usually operates dead silent in a very diligent way. True evil does not sleep. It usually hides behind the kindest faces and the best of intentions. It can even mimic innocence and has charity as its executive assistant. Common bosses are stress and anxiety, and they're usually easily ignored. They may also happen to be one of the biggest killers on this planet. The symptoms of stress may appear to be as tiny as mosquitoes, yet a child dies every 2 minutes because of malaria. The first signs of stress may be subtle, like snapping at other people, a stiff neck, or a dry skin, but they escalates to be more serious conditions like high blood pressure, heart attacks, or diabetes. We are more focused on the mental health of our leaders than our own emotional state, and that is the deadliest ignorance of all, pointing towards the ills of the world, while not paying attention to your own well-being will rapidly infest your entire system. Turn away from what your enemy is doing and start taking stock of your own stress and anxiety today. Listen to the signals of your body and take the corrective action immediately. Fire this boss before it fires you. Keep a close eye on the words that pass from your lips. Make notes for 1 week of the things that you put into your body. If you don't do this at least once, you'll simply turn into another consumer. Bypass your need for instant gratification. Eliminate the unnecessary, but do not overcomplicate the process. It will only cause more stress and more anxiety. Make intelligent choices that work for you. Know that the fear inside you can turn into a much bigger monster than the environment that surrounds you. Aim for balance. Remove all the twos from your life. They were my dad's words. Like too many drugs, natural, prescription, legal, non-legal, too much alcohol, too much bread, too much meat, too much vegetables, too much judgment, too much work, too much partying, too much screaming, too little reading, too much internet, too much stress, too much exercise, too much of anything. The big bosses that cost us dearly are the things in ourselves that creep in unnoticed and then escalate uncontrollably in a short period of time because we are allowed to get out of balance. There are very few people on this planet, if any, who are not out of balance in some area of their lives. Don't mind them. What matters is you and the conversations that you are having with yourself. What are you over or underdoing at the moment that is throwing you off balance? They're the real bosses. Small changes can completely reset the pH balance of your soul. The most vicious bosses are the most patient ones as well. As they take their time to destroy subtly and slowly, they get openly invited by our negative thoughts and our automatic actions, and therefore fully feel entitled to stay and attach. Perhaps you've fired the boss that controls your body, but it is totally unaware of the devastation that is caused by the mafia in your mind. Or you may have surrendered to the most incredible spiritual path, but are still avoiding an opening conversation with your boss that is diligently destroying your liver. You can be emotionally strong but spiritually poor, or mentally resilient but physically weak. Bosses enjoy an environment that is out of balance. The more you maintain mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual balance to the best of your abilities, the better shielded you become from external influences. Do not compare your bosses with others. What cake is to you may be wine to someone else. Your obsession with running can become more deadly than a person who eats too much gluten. A perfect body doesn't always house the soundest mind. No diet in the world can fix you if your soul is consumed with ego. You may have many social media followers, but not one intimate relationship. Get perspective on your life. Be realistic. Put realistic measurements in place to help you stay on track. Be honest with yourself about the inconsistencies in your life. You may be spiritually disciplined, but do not keep your promises well. Perhaps you're a hero to your clients, but a louse spouse to your partner. This is the soil that breeds bosses who later become monsters. Then no one knows why. They are sneaky little buggers that work around the clock in our lives. Set up a meeting with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. Peek straight into your very own eyes. Promise yourself to find these bosses and sabotage them once and for all. You have invited these menaces. Therefore, you can show them the door. When you kill the spider web disappears.